Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, how you doing today?
Let's see how objective you're going to be about your friend Dabo right now. Here we go. Are you going to lay it on the table about what just happened to your friend Dabo? We'll find out.
It was a great day for sports, Skip. You know, I was like going back and forth. You know, looking at one TV, see the championship game, and looking at the other TV. Oh, Goat James.
Goat James against what's left of the Cavaliers.
Don't do that.
Is that what it is? We have a packed show today. How impressive was LeBron last night as he eclipsed another milestone in the Lakers' 9th straight win? But who's counting? And Cowboys safety Xavier Woods will be joining us in studio to talk all things Cowboys. That should be interesting. But first, we do have to talk about Joe Burrow and the LSU Tigers. Nothing fazed the Heisman winner last night in the national championship game against Clemson. LSU found themselves in a 17-7 hole in the second quarter to a team who had won 29 straight games. Burrow responded by scoring 3 unanswered touchdowns to go into the half with a 28-17 lead. From there, it was all LSU extended their lead in the second half and went on to win 42-25 thanks to Burrow's 465 passing yards and 6 total touchdowns. So, Shannon, how impressive was LSU's comeback?
Skip, it was very impressive considering that they were down 10 points and who they were down to. Skip, when they dropped 63 on Oklahoma, he was like, well, that's Oklahoma. Oklahoma doesn't play defense. Their defense is their offense, and Jalen Hurts putting pressure on you, forcing you to score a bunch of points.
Everybody put 63 on Oklahoma.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this was Clemson, the defending national champs, that was leading the nation in scoring defense. Skip, they were averaging giving up 151 passing yards per game. And in 14 games, they had given up 9 passing touchdowns. Joe Burrow, against the number 1 scoring defense and the number 1 pass defense in the nation, got 5 touchdown passes, a drop touchdown, and they took a knee on the 5. That's what he did. Skip, early on, you could see it took them about a quarter and a half to figure out exactly what Clemson was doing. Because what LSU does, it's a pro-style offense, Skip, and we call it scat protection, which all the eligible receivers is always releasing. Clemson was blitzing that formation. So it just took them a while. Hold on. We can't hold the ball back here. We got to get this ball out quick. They started running jailbreak screens, getting linemen out there, and all of a sudden they're picking up yards. They started getting the ball, 3-step drops, getting the ball out, letting those speedy receivers make plays. And then they bring the blitz. From one side, Joe Burrow, quarterback draw on the other side, picking up 10, 15 yards. Skip, he was unbelievable, the poise that which he showed, but you shouldn't be surprised because they've been the best team all year long, Skip. And Joe Burrow, what he was able to do, they beat 7 top 10 teams at the time of they playing them. Joe Burrow is 27-2, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's averaging 398 yards a game, Skip. So what he did and who he did it against is what makes it impressive. You can say, well, if he did this against Ole Miss or he did this against somebody else. But, Skip, this is a team that had won 29 straight games. Their defense, and we know what Brent Venables, okay, we talk about St. Nick, and so you're like, I'm done with St. Nick. Brent Venables is the best defensive coordinator in the country. And Joe Burrow made him look mundane. Skip, the dude, they had 623 total yards against the number 1 defense. That would be the equivalent of a running back gaining 250 against the 2000 Ravens. You're like, what? That's what I was saying. He made that defense look very, very average. And we know that defense is anything but average. Their best corner, Skip, they tried to hide their best corner. And they found him. The thing is that LSU has so many good receivers that you can't hide a bad corner. Because you go from Jefferson to Chase to Marshall, then you throw in Randy Moss' son Thad. Where you going? This was very impressive. They've been the best team. This was a Cinderella season that got capped off. Skip, I haven't seen anything like this. Not what Joe Burrow did, what LSU done, and for them to cap it off in the fashion in which they did, it was unbelievable. They beat Clemson. This was, you can dress it up and say, well, Trevor Lawrence had a bad game. They beat Clemson, the defending champs, and Joe Burrow and that offense was spectacular.
Would you say Dabo got humiliated last night?
Well, he did. What is it? Turnaround is fair play. He did it to St. Nick last year.
Okay.
Okay, what goes around comes around. They call it karma. You know, that's what I love about karma. Because karma is sometimes patient. It'll wait 5, 10, 15 years, and sometimes it's Amazon Prime. It's right around the corner and it'll drop it off to you.
Well, this one took like 15 years.
No, it didn't.
Because I don't think Dabo's had much karma in his coaching life.
No.
Seriously.
Well, hold on. I think Coach Saban shut him up when Kelly Bryant was before Trevor Lawrence the year before. I think Coach Saban shut him out 23-0 or 23-3 something. But not like this, Skip. Not like this.
So, to amplify what you just said, to me, Dabo Swinney is a far better coach than Coach O. Far better. I think anybody who knows college football would agree with that.
Yes.
That Coach O is more of a recruiter than a strategist, right?
Might be a heck of a motivator, though.
He's a motivator, recruiter, but
Yes.
when it comes to X's and O's, I've never thought he was the greatest at that. And I'm going to point out that it wasn't that long ago, shortly into the 2017 season, Coach O was on the hottest of hot seats at LSU.
Yes.
They had just lost at home to Troy, 24-21, and there were lots of stories in the state of Louisiana about how much it would cost to buy out Coach O's contract.
Right.
That wasn't that long ago, just a couple of years back.
That is correct.
And as you point out, Clemson came into this game with the #1 scoring defense in the nation, and I do agree with you. Because Brent Venables, I know from University of Oklahoma days, he is the best at what he does. So when I saw Trevor Lawrence on a little option keep score the first touchdown of the game, and if we could see that, he blew a kiss to the LSU fans. And it was
like a kiss goodnight, huh?
Yeah, good night. Here we go. He scores, and then he blows a little kiss. Ooh. He barely saw it there, but he just blew it. Here we go. Little kiss. There you go.
It was a nice kiss.
It was a nice little kiss, and it was like a good night kiss because it's very close on who is the more confident team coming into the game between LSU and Clemson because they are extreme confident programs, and Clemson for the longest time, LSU for only this year.
Correct.
Right? So he blows the kiss, and then the next thing I know is T. Higgins, their 6'4" receiver, takes a reverse and goes all the way home. And what did he do just before the goal line? He absolutely blew up Christian Fulton, who I'm pretty sure is going to be a first-round NFL pick at cornerback. And he KO'd him before the goal line, scored, and that made it 17-7 Clemson with about 10:38 left in the second quarter. And at that moment, I sat back and I thought, you know what? Coach O and his group, they're in big trouble right now because this is Dabo.
Yes.
And what do I know about Dabo? Well, he did annihilate St. Nick's team last year, 44-16, and that was after the semifinal game in which they just absolutely crushed Notre Dame 30-3.
Yes.
And then I can go back to games like in 2016, they beat Ohio State 31-0 in the semifinal before they beat Alabama to win the national championship. And I'll go back to my days with my Oklahoma team against Dabo. Baker Mayfield played him in a semifinal game and lost 37-17, and it wasn't that close, trust me. And then there, once upon a time, if we can go back to early Dabo against Bob Stoops, he beat Bob Stoops in a bowl game called the Russell Athletic Bowl, 40-6. I'm just telling you, Clemson is a steamroller. They just crush people.
And Dabo always gets his teams up to play.
Right.
You never have to worry about them, but they were down. They come ready to play.
So I read a story on ESPN.com that there was a big surge of what they call Sharpe money late in the day yesterday on Clemson, which made the spread a lot closer because the people in the know like the Tigers from Clemson over the Tigers from LSU because all the stupid money was on LSU that didn't turn out so stupid after a while. So what happened from that moment on? To your point, LSU outscored Clemson the rest of the way 35-8. Let that sink in. 35-8, and it wasn't that close.
No,
it was a mismatch from that point forward. And Jamar Chase, who did win the Blitnikoff Award, was being covered by Clemson's best corner, A.J. Terrell, and he just couldn't cover him. It was a mismatch. It's like, where's Jamar? I'll throw it to Jamar again.
That's your best guy. Well, if that's your best guy, where can you put him now, Skip?
I don't know because now you got mismatches everywhere. And Joe Burrow is an escape artist as well as a deadly accurate passer because he's got legs now.
He's
for
more
6'4".
athletic than you think.
Whew. And again, he's not as fast as Trevor Lawrence is down the field because once Trevor Lawrence gets uncorked, once he gets those long legs unwound, he can fly, man. He looks like he runs a 4.5-ish kind of 40. But Joe Burrow has quickness and cleverness and instincts to beat the rush and buy time and create. And then if you don't protect, he'll gouge you down the field. He'll get 10 real quick, right?
Skip, I thought really one of the plays of the game, you mentioned Joe Burrow's legs. Remember, it was third down. And what they called a quarterback draw. They called him in the ideal situation.
I'm glad you brought that up. That was the play of the game. That turned the whole game in there, turned the tide. We can see it right here. What a call that was.
No, that was the first. That was the. I'm talking about the
touchdown.
Right before the half.
Yeah.
Right before the half.
No, wasn't that it?
No.
Okay.
No, he picked up a first down.
Oh, I thought but that's for the touchdown. That's a 3rd and goal play for a touchdown, or you're going to have to take a field goal.
You notice, Skip, they started doing that a lot. They did that against Alabama also. That was his signature moment against Alabama. But I was talking about right before the half, Skip. It was third down.
I got it.
And that was huge.
Okay, now, here's the case I'm about to make. Joe Burrow came out of nowhere. Joe Burrow had the greatest turnaround season in NCAA history, and it ain't even close.
It's close.
I don't know where this guy came from, but I'll tell you my theory in just a moment. Just to drive this home, he gets recruited by Ohio State.
Right.
He backed up J.T. Barrett he redshirted one year. Then he backed him up, and then they recruit Dwayne Haskins, and he realizes I'm at best the 3rd-string quarterback, and he says, I'm out
of here.
But what had he done in the interim? He had graduated from Ohio State in 3 years.
Yes.
Not that easy to do.
Right.
So he's a bright kid.
Well, he had plenty of time because he wasn't spending a whole lot of time studying in practice because he wasn't playing.
Okay. Bingo.
I just said, Jenny, you know, but
he did get in 10 games for Ohio State, but he didn't start one.
There were moments.
There were moments he played. All right, so then all of a sudden he's a free agent. And because he's graduated, he can go straight and play without having to sit out. So his father was a pretty good player at Nebraska, wound up playing. He got drafted in the 8th round by the Green Bay Packers back in the day and played a year there and then bounced around the CFL. He's been a long-time high school and college coach. But his dad was a pretty good defensive back at Nebraska, and Nebraska not interested. Joe Burrow wanted to go to Nebraska, not interested. Coach O is desperate for a quarterback because it feels like they've never had a quarterback in the history of LSU. All the way back to Y.A. Tittle, if you want to go back to the one.
Well, Jamarcus Russell had that one season.
Okay, but again, I was pretty shaky on it, and Al Davis made a huge mistake on that one. But the point was, Coach O said, please come here and save my program. So he comes there, and what did he do the first year, which is 2 years ago, as the starting quarterback? He completed only 58% of his passes. That's terrible. He was 16 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. So let's see. This year he was 60 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Last year, 16 to 5. Help me out. That is terrible. In fact, 2 years ago, he was a running quarterback. They did more run-pass option plays, and he scored 7 touchdowns running the football, and he was better with his legs than with his arm. So what happened? What happened was in this offseason, Coach O went to the Saints and said, hey, we need help. Could you just instruct us on how you run the Drew Brees offense? And one thing led to another, and there was a very young assistant. He was 29 years of age, who had been no more than a graduate assistant at Penn State and had talked Sean Payton into, can I come and be your
quality control guy?
No, your gopher. Your gopher. Can I be your gopher, your quality control guy? Can I get your coffee? Can I maybe sit in the meetings? Named Joe Brady, 29 years of age. And the more they talked, they said, well, would you be interested in coming and helping our quarterback? Well, sure. And they talked. He's a smart kid. He was a backup wide receiver at William and Mary. Had just bounced around again. No more than a graduate assistant at Penn State.
Mike Tomlin.
1 year.
William and Mary.
He played at William and Mary.
And so did the coach at Buffalo.
That is correct. So one year under Sean Payton at the low man on the staff, by far the low man, and he had the most impact any assistant coach has had in the history of college football. Show me one who's had more of an impact in 1 year. He turned around this kid into easily the number one pick in the draft. We're going to debate this in a little while, but you can argue that Joe Burrow just had the greatest season in the history of quarterbacks in college football.
Yeah, might be any position.
Okay.
Skip, but it just goes to show you in the length of time that he was there, how attentive he was in listening to what, because he absorbed a lot. Because normally guys that are this prolific, they're around a coach for an extended period of time. If I'm hearing you correctly, he's only around Sean Payton for what, a year?
1 year.
1 year. So he expunged, he absorbed a lot. Skip, this is not an accident. People are like, well, that was just...
Okay, so real quick, before you leave this behind, before the year started, I predicted that a new Oklahoma quarterback would be the third straight Oklahoma quarterback to win the Heisman,
right.
named Jalen Hurts,
right.
transfer from Alabama.
Right.
And at that point, I barely knew who Joe Burrow was.
Right.
Well, did it come up in our debate
No.
before the year started?
No.
Because who would have seen Joe Burrow winning the Heisman Trophy?
No.
So, to my point, Jalen Hurts finished second in the Heisman, but it was a distant second.
Yeah, he finished last.
He got blown out of the water.
Because
he was last. Who saw this coming?
And that was Skip.
How can you do that? How can you turn your whole game around to this level?
Yeah, I'm listening at the evaluators, Mel Kiper, and I forget the other guy's name that's on ESPN, Todd McShay.
Todd McShay, yeah.
He said I had him at a grade as a third or fourth round pick coming into the season.
Crazy.
From a third to fourth round pick to possibly the number one overall pick in the draft.
He's the runaway number one pick.
He gave some momentum.
Right.
Skip, this, I agree with you. Skip, and I go back and I've been watching college football a long time. I've never seen anything like this. Like this. To put up the historic numbers that he put up, to win the Heisman, and to finish it off with the national. Nobody's had this, Skip. Not all of this.
Yep.
This is the fireworks. This is the birthday cake. This is the Ferrari. This is everything.
Yep.
This is sweepstakes. He got it in one season. And like you said, I mean, here's a guy, I remember the game 2 years ago in LSU when Alabama thumped him. And he looked very pedestrian. And then he comes back the next year and nobody, because he did the same thing to Georgia. Georgia was giving up 10 points a game, Skip, in the Sugar Bowl, in the SEC title game. And Joe Burrow is throwing 5 or 6 touchdowns. Skip, the dude had 14 touchdowns in 2 college playoff games with 0 picks.
He had 7 in the first half against my Sooners. 7? How do you do that?
Yes.
And I was ashamed of it that night, and then last night it made me less ashamed.
Yeah, you know.
Because I thought, okay, well, if you can do that to Clemson, you could surely do that to Oklahoma.
And that was the thing, Skip. Like I said, it took him a while, I think, and being at home, Skip, I think it gave him somewhat of an ease. I'm not so sure if this was a true neutral site game. This is not a neutral site game. I don't care what anybody says. It's kind of like, Skip, the national title game is in Georgia, at the Georgia Dome. Yep. And the Bulldogs are in it. Although the game is not in Athens, that is a home game for Georgia. Yep. This was literally a home game for LSU. Yep. And the first quarter, Venables is dialing up those blitzes, and they're getting home. He looks a little flustered. I thought he was flustered, but the expression did not change on his face. He's almost like Eli Manning in that, like, nothing really bothered him. I'm like, bro, you do know you're like 2 for 6. Now, you got the greatest going.
And Venables threw a new look at it. It was a little junky defense, but he threw 3 down linemen, 1 linebacker, and 7 DBs. 7 DBs. He took every DB on his roster and put him in the starting lineup. Yes. And for a while, it messed him up.
Right. And then all of a sudden, he's like, hold on. We got to get this ball out of our hands quicker because they bring in gas. And that's what you do, Skip. But here's the thing now. If you don't get home against gap protection, you see what Chase did, over the top you go. Or if you come with a blitz and they got a screen with 3 linemen out in front of him, there he goes.
There he goes.
And that's what happens, Skip. You got to give this look. I thought it would be a higher scoring game. I'm surprised Clemson, because when I look at LSU's defense is their offense. They put so much pressure. You got to get to 50. That's the only way you're going to beat them, Skip. You got to get to 50. So you got to put pressure on Joe Burrow to speed him up. But I was surprised that Clemson only scored 25 points against LSU's defense, because I don't think LSU has an outstanding defense. They don't have big pass rushers. Now, their secondary is very good. do a very good job of holding up. But they started getting closer and adding a little more pressure to Trevor Lawrence. But Joe Burrow and what he was able to do this year, Skip.
But as many quick strikes as you saw, they also controlled the ball.
Yeah.
They won the time possession by 10 minutes, 35-25.
And then all of a sudden, Skip, they started getting that little bowling ball, the little bowling ball with legs. What's his name?
Edwards-Helaire.
Edwards-Helaire. They started he started running over people. He's like,
I love him.
He's like, your wide receiver ran on my DB?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to pay some of your DBs back. And they went fast, Skip, because he was out of bounds. He put his hands down. He didn't step out of bounds, but he put his hand down. But they went quick.
They got it.
And nothing you can do.
So when did Joe Burrow catch my eye? It was the night LSU played in Austin against the University of Texas, who I thought was going to be better than they ended up being. They were 8-5 at the end of the year, but they looked pretty good at that point. And OU had split with them the year before.
Right.
So all of a sudden, it winds up 45-38, but when Joe Burrow threw the touchdown pass that made it 45, he's over on the sideline and they get a quick shot of him, and he's turned to the fans, the Texas fans, and he's pointing to him and John like you, and you. And I'm thinking, you can't do that. You can't do that. This kid is cocky acting, but he's not cocky talking. Right. He doesn't say big things, but with his body language, he is supremely confident.
Skip, when you go back and look at their season, the only team that was close to them was kind of like Auburn because it rained. It was a mucky day all day. But, think about it. At the time they played 17, they were in the top 10. Skip, he almost averaged 4 touchdowns and 400 yards a game.
So then what did we see from him last night? We saw another sort of cocky bit of behavior. He took a shot at the end of the half. You talking about what he comes out at halftime without his team and gets on the exercise bike.
Yeah.
Well, again, what's it hold? 80,000, whatever, a national TV audience, and there's a big extravaganza, a halftime show, and he's riding the bike at halftime.
Get loose.
And it's a little bit of a hot dog move, but that's who he is.
He's taking a hit, so was it maybe just...
So he's saying, I got to get looser, I got to get my core loose, stay warm.
Well, I'm sure because, Skip, when he took that hit and came off, he's like, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. He was like, don't touch me. The dude caught him flush. I mean, he's looking one way and the dude catch him. I mean, you can't really brace for that because you don't think it's coming. He did a great job. It was a great combination because the DB was think the tight end, Thad Moss, is going to run a 7 route. But he hooks it up because you can see he's getting ready to bail and go to the 7, and Moss hooks it up.
So then he comes to the sideline after throwing his final touchdown pass, but there are 12 minutes left in the game, and he's saying, ring me.
Sign me up.
Ring me. And then he tells ESPN right after the game on the field that they had already been sized and that he's a 10.5. And I'm thinking, wait a second, Coach O let the whole team get sized for championship rings?
Yes.
Is that standard protocol for both teams?
But Coach O with that deep raspy voice, he's been talking about natural.
Okay. Was that his sort of motivational ploy?
Wow.
Is that, let's get sized for rings?
I don't hate it.
I know a whole lot of coaches who would hate that. Hate that.
Well, Skip, maybe they was getting sized. I mean, you could say you got sized, but maybe it's for an SEC championship ring. But it got signed. But it sounds better, Skip, if you say we got signed for national title rings. Whatever the case may be, whatever's going to get you motivated.
Yeah, it's possible.
We good.
But he just immediately said, I'm a 10.5. I already know. Really?
Against that defense, dude had 5 touchdown passes.
Well, whatever he says or does, he backed it up. Right?
So true, though.
Had
he not backed it up.
Skip, I don't know if we'll ever see it up. Skip, they scored over 700 points.
Whew.
Which is the most in the poll area, and I think the polling area started in 1936.
It's a Cinderella
725
story.
points.
Yeah. Obviously, he's got not 3, he's got 5 really good receivers. So did Alabama.
Right.
So did Oklahoma.
Right.
They all do, but it takes that trigger man to be able to pull that
60 touchdowns with 6 picks.
Yes.
Let that sink in for a second. 60 touchdowns with 6 picks. The dude almost threw for 6,000 yards.
Right. So, and by the way, he's not immobile either. He's not Tom Brady. He can run.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes, he can.
Wow.
And they diagrammed that, Skip. A lot of quarterback draws. You see Trevor Lawrence. They used his legs.
Yep.
That's kind of, we're going to talk about this a little later, but I'm not surprised. I thought they would get to 40. You think they're going to score that many? Oh, absolutely.
But I thought both teams would be kind of neck and neck up there, and then it just got completely out of hand.
Hey, Skip, everybody got that speed for 50 yards with Usain Bolt. It was that once he got to 60 meters, that all of a sudden he opened up.
Whew. We're going to remember this team. I have a feeling. I think we're going to remember this year.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about this team. Man, you remember that 2000 LSU team?
In the history books.
Yeah.
It's a Cinderella story.
No mercy.
LeBron and the Lakers had no problem without Anthony Davis for the third straight game with an easy win over the Cavs at home. LeBron had a game-high 31 points on 12 for 16 shooting, and his 8 assists also puts him past Isaiah Thomas for 8th place on the NBA's all-time list. The win marks the Lakers' 9th in a row, and Shannon, I start with you. What letter grade would you give LeBron for last night?
A+. Might not lose a game in 2020. Yeah, might win the next 50 straight. May be more impressive than Joe Burrow. The whole GOAT Jay, he was in the bag. He was in that toolbox last night.
How much do you want
to I won't put that, no, I just want to talk about it. I mean, he had to skip, he had that old 24-hour bug, Jen. You coughing all over the place. Yeah, he couldn't even play Saturday night. No, couldn't play. But that flu 24-hour bug, Skip, got, old Savannah nursed him up, got it right. Said, baby, go on out there and do what you do now. And you saw him in that toolbox last night, 31, 8, and 2, 32 minutes. Can I interest you in that, Skip? Yeah.
That all you got?
Skip, extremely efficient. got 31 points on 16 shots? Woo! Look at that. Free throw. Skip, you see that thing creeping? I'm heading back towards 75%, but hey, I ain't gonna say nothing
to that.
You
want to double it?
No, Skip.
Double our bet. I'll do it right now.
You see what we doing? Every game, we 5 of 5. We 6 of 7. Slowly but surely by the end of the year, we'll be like 74.9, and I'll win the bet.
Okay. Want to double it right now?
No, Skip. Okay. I just want to finish my discussion with old GOAT James.
Okay.
And you saw the fourth quarter. He came out there. Frank told him, hey, Ron, go and put this thing away now because I'm trying to get you up out of there. He's like, okay. Put them finishing touches on him. Played about 5-6 minutes. Dropped 14 on him. Went to the bench. We good. Plus 19 and plus minus. Look, he's doing this without Anthony Davis. They playing a different type of game. They're more up and down without AD because AD can post. We got to get him his touches. And we're not going to always get him his touches on the break and throwing lobs. So we got to dump it down to him. It slows us down a little bit. Got no problem with that. But we know in situations like this, you got to get it and go. And LeBron did a great job of that. Guys filled in. Dwight Howard has been unbelievable. But old GOAT James, considering that he was sick just 24 hours ago, and for him to give you that kind of virtuoso, I couldn't give him anything but an A+.
Well, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to give him an A+. Because in my life, I've never seen more miraculous healing powers than LeBron James has. I've never seen anything like it.
I knew it was something.
Yeah, I did too.
A+ because he was sick as a dog, quote unquote, on Saturday night because he had flu-like symptoms.
Flu-like.
I don't know what that means exactly. Do you have the flu or do you just have symptoms?
It was like the flu. Not quite the flu, but like the flu.
Yeah. And then I happened to see video of Sunday night at Staples Center, and LeBron James, could we see this? He was on stage with Bad Bunny.
Oh, Bad Bunny, what are you doing?
And he's just blowing it out, man. I was afraid, did he need
I figured you'd catch this.
Whoa.
Was
he coughing out the lyrics, or was he, I don't know how he was doing it. How did he suck it up and muster up the energy to get up on stage off his deathbed? How do you do that? Look at this. This is a man who missed a game in Oklahoma City on Saturday night. Now, can we be completely 100,000% real here?
What we got?
Why do you have to lie about it? Just load manage. I don't have any problem with load managing. You sucked it up and gave it your all on Friday night in Dallas, and you had a big game against Luka, who is overrated. I keep telling you that. We're going to talk about that in the near future here. But LeBron had a big game with no AD, and they won at Dallas, and he needed a night off. Don't give me flu-like symptoms. Just own it. You deserve it. You are 35 years old in your 17th NBA season. You deserve every once in a while to take off the back end of a back-to-back.
We don't like doing it.
Why wouldn't you? Because it's all about Kawhi, because you're all about...
We don't care nothing about Kawhi.
Why is Kawhi load managing? LeBron says, when LeBron's healthy, LeBron plays every night. He was completely healthy on Saturday night, but he made a wise decision to take it off, because you need to take it off, because the truth is Kawhi's got the right idea, because it's all about May and June for these two LA teams. And so why wouldn't LeBron James own it? Just own it and say, I need a night off. off because it will look bad because he's been taking little between-the-line shots at Kawhi Leonard, who lives in the basement of Staples Center right now, but keeps coming up like a monster out of the basement to put LeBron in his place.
Am I the only one that heard of the 24-hour bug? Have a little something for 24 hours?
It's a real thing.
Okay, real thing. So
but that's a quick turnaround to go to a concert.
Well, go to a concert?
24 hours.
Off your deathbed?
No deathbed.
Bad Bunny?
Hold on, time out. So let me get this. I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So him walking out there in a pair of jeans and a hoodie, nice
should be resting.
So let me ask you a question. So did that take the same kind of effort and energy level to perform at an NBA game as it does walk out in the store on the stage and hit a few balls?
Well, if you got flu-like symptoms or you got the flu, I don't know if that means you have it or not. But if you got it, you shouldn't be up on stage because you got a game on Monday night and you shouldn't risk a relapse. If you've really got the flu, you're going to risk getting up there. And what did your mother always tell you? You're going to get sick again if you don't watch it.
My grandma used to say, boy, bundle up and sweat it out you.
Sweat it out?
Yeah, bundle up. So he got a hoodie on, got a jean jacket, so he sweated up out.
Did she send you to concerts to get well? I don't recall that.
Do you have the 24-hour flu right now?
Look here. At Mary Porter House, you were sick, you were leaving there. Going to school, going to church, you ain't.
Yeah. So the point is that LeBron needed a night off, and he took it, and then he came back last night, and he was really good against a bunch of bad bunnies from the Cavaliers. Because they're a bunch of bad bunnies. They're 12-28. You want to talk about bad bunnies?
I know, not the bad, but I know that's not the team that just beat the Nuggets at home. And the Nuggets happen to have the second best record in the Western Conference. I know that's not them, the Cavaliers, right?
12-28.
Did they beat the Nuggets?
12-28.
Did they beat the Nuggets? Yes or no, Skip? I said simple yes or no.
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
Everybody beats somebody in an 82-game season. That's what happens.
But it didn't happen to us. Now, had it happened to us, because see, like when the Lakers lose, I said, well, Skip, you told me the season don't really start till Christmas. Okay, then they don't lose. Well, the season don't start till after the All-Star game. And if you keep kicking the can down the road.
Okay, but you keep telling me the Spurs are broccoli and they're no good and they're going to miss the playoffs. Terrible. And all they did was blow out Milwaukee, and then they blew out Boston at Boston, and then they went and won at Toronto. So it happens. They're aberration. They're blips in the 82 games.
But guess what ain't a blip? The Spurs beating the Lakers. Now, I wanted to be the AC. That's easy work for us. We get like 6 days off because we're going to sweep them.
It's a long season.
It ain't that long.
The reason I'm also giving LeBron an A+, he was brilliant last night because he always saves his best for last, especially against 12-28 style teams like the Cavaliers, who had clearly quit in the fourth quarter. And what did LeBron do in the fourth quarter? He took the most shots on his team. He took the most shots on either team because he leads the NBA in fourth quarter shot attempts by far over Trae Young. He's number one.
So what's
he's taken 17 more shots in the fourth quarter than the second most shots taken by Trae Young. 219 times LeBron has shot in the fourth quarter, and most of them are coming against bad teams who are beaten badly.
Yeah,
and
we beat them badly.
Yeah, because it was a complete rout already, and he makes 5 of 6 shots. Tristan was trying to guard him in the fourth quarter. He would just blow by him and lay it up or dunk it or get to the free throw.
Or we hit a 3 in his face.
One.
And then we guess what? We pass it to him in the lane, and he hit that patent, MJ Kobe, that fall away skip. I said, he in that toolbox again, Jenny.
So LeBron scored 14 in the fourth quarter against the Bad Bunny Cavaliers.
Don't do that.
14, and that's how you chase Kareem. That's how you do it. It's brilliant. It's a brilliant A+.
Hold on.
Way to go, LeBron.
Now, I remember having a conversation, and you're like, well, Jenny, isn't there 4 quarters in a game? When I tell you Dak is stat padding, you talk about, no, it's the fourth quarter.
Yeah, but they're behind, and they almost come back and win the Jets. They almost came back and made it a game against Aaron Rodgers. Yes.
My homeboy. Second of all, Skip Bayless, look, you make it seem like they were up 30 to start the fourth quarter. They were up 14. Listen.
It's over.
Skip, no. What normally happens, AD plays the entire third quarter. LeBron James will normally play anywhere between 8 and 9 minutes. He comes and sit down. AD plays the entire third. He starts the fourth on the bench. LeBron starts the fourth. And now AD comes in at about 7 minutes, about 8 minutes. So what do you expect LeBron to do with no AD on the court?
Stat pad. Stuff that ballot box. That's what he's doing. He's just stuffing away 14 in the fourth quarter against the Cavaliers. Way to go, LeBron.
I want you to keep
he knows what's happening.
But hold on. Now, when Kawhi scores 14, no matter who he scores against, he's taking over the fourth quarter. He took it over.
Close games. Yeah, close games he does.
No, he ain't been close lately. Let me get the brakes beat off. Brakes!
Just wait until Super Bowl week. We got the third meeting, and we'll see what happens when Kawhi comes up out of the basement and he says, this is a game I have circled.
Well, we circled it too.
Yeah.
But we got due on this one. I mean, what day is that on? That's on a Saturday?
No, I think it's during Super Bowl, like Tuesday night of Super Bowl week.
Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to watch that.
We have a viewing party
I don't know if I'll be able to watch that. Me and old
Why
baby,
not?
me and old Weezy baby gonna be out on the town.
Yeah.
That's how you're going to do things.
You ain't going to be able to come.
Week.
Oh,
we
I
already
have plans because Weezy's offered me his new Lambo.
Well, you can have the Lambo. You just take the Lambo and go all over Key West, Key Biscayne, go wherever you want to go. You just can't go with us.
Is anyone going to invite me to hang out?
Nah, you can't go where we going.
No, okay, no Lambo.
You know what? I'm going to amend my grade to just an A because I just noticed LeBron had 2 total rebounds last night. Huh?
Dwight.
No offensive. There's no AD, and you get 2 rebounds when in the starting lineup you got Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green and Avery Bradley. You need to rebound, LeBron. Oh, but wait a second. I push it back to an A+. It was brilliant strategy. He planned pregame. Save yourself. Don't rebound. Save your energy for the fourth quarter so that you can score points and get closer and closer to Kareem.
Jenny, you can come with us. You bringing some bands?
Yeah.
Because bands will make them dance. That's what me and Weezy gonna be doing.
Sure. Any invite would be fine at this point.
I don't know if Matt gonna co-sign that one. So. You might need to run that through Matt.
We're gonna have a good time. 2 weeks, we're heading to the Super Bowl. Did you see what Kevin Love said about the Lakers?
What did he say?
It feels like they could do something special.
Woo! Okay, Lord, no.
K-Love loves LeBron.
He knows him well.
He hugged it up with LeBron.
Was not enough about it. But you didn't say nothing about when, hold on, when Kawhi played Toronto and he was yucking it up with Siakam and Lowry and Van Fleet, you didn't say a word. Yeah. Now LeBron gonna play with somebody they won titles with and he was with for 4 years, and now you got a problem with it.
Kawhi won it by himself. LeBron won his title in Cleveland with Kyrie making the last
It sure looked like Siakam and Van Fleet gonna be all-stars. So much for being by himself. Hold on. At the time last year, you said Siakam or Van Fleet should have been the MVP. Now
who was the MVP? That's the fact.
Okay, well,
it's an historical fact.
Who's been the 3-time MVP? Finals MVP.
Who is 3 and 6 in the finals?
Well, when Kawhi make enough finals, he'll be 2 and whatever. Well, he won't get back this year, so we ain't got to worry about getting a loss in his column this year. Not this year.
You're about to be in big trouble.
No, I ain't gonna be in big nothing.
Yeah.
AD get rest. LeBron James again MVP.
Unique, you both gave A+, but for completely different reasons.
Oh, he was
completely different reasons.
No mercy.
After the Browns filled the NFL's final head coaching vacancy with Kevin Stefanski, the Fritz Pollard Alliance issued a statement yesterday urging the NFL to boost their, quote, abysmal record of hiring minorities. The statement also said that the league's, quote, current system of hiring and promoting talent into the upper levels of NFL management is a flawed system. We cannot expect fairness if business remains status quo. Shannon, what is your reaction to this?
I'm not surprised they use the term abysmal because that's what it is. And as I said last week, Skip, until you have a more diverse people that can hire more diverse-looking people that doesn't necessarily look like them, talk like them, act like them, this is what you're going to get. Skip, we automatically knew when we heard Marvin Lewis had interviewed for the Dallas Cowboys, what was the first thing that was a box they had to check. So that seems to be the recurring theme, Skip. Every time that a minority goes, we're so conditioned, they just checking that box. Eric Bieniemy, Skip, if I didn't know, but I could have swore he was calling plays on Sunday. I could have swore he was calling plays. Now
he calls the plays.
Stefanski, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, this is his second year on the job. He was so bad at his job the year before that they brought in Gary Kubiak to oversee him. Yeah. And he gets a head coaching job. But nobody's like, that's just standard procedure. This is why Cleveland is going to be Cleveland. They're going to do Cleveland Brown things. And guess what? 2 years from now, mark my word, we'll be back in the same situation again, Skip. Until you get more minorities that's in positions that they can hire minorities or people of color, you're going to have this, Skip. It used to be that way in the movie industry. Well, women can't lead until you got more women directors, and guess what you got, Skip? You got Wonder Woman. Blacks can't lead, they won't have no movie, and then you got Ryan Coogler, and then you got Black Panther. They could do it. if these studios just gave them a chance. Studios starting to give women and minorities more chances, and you're seeing a more diverse movie cast. You're seeing, oh, wow, $1 billion, Black Panther. Ooh, $1 billion Wonder Woman. That's what you're going to have to do, Skip, until you get general managers and VPs. Because it's like, well, I don't even know how they get promoted because it's supposed to be, Skip, not only coaches, front office. So GMs, or presidents, VPs, all of those supposed to go through that channel of the Rooney Rule. But Skip, now the Rooney Rule's become a joke. All it is, they come in to check a box. Hey, we got to see him. We got to let them see him coming in the front door. Just ask him a few questions, send him on his way. We've checked that box. We've moved on. Skip, it's a joke. It's really a joke. And the likelihood if you lose your job as a black, you got to wait about 7-8 years before you get another job. These guys, white guys, lose their job and they go, guess what? Lost his job here, he go right over there and get him another job. And they think, okay, it's good. Man, miss me with that, NFL.
So I know I bring him up often on this show, but my longtime friend John Wooten recently retired as the head of the Fritz Pollard Alliance, who was the driving force behind the original Rooney Rule. Spoke to him yesterday, and he drove home the point to me that, remember, the Rooney Rule worked for a long time. It actually worked at a pretty high level because as recently as 2018, not that long ago, there were 8 minority head coaches in the league, including Ron Rivera, obviously.
Right.
As recently as 2015, there were 7 black general managers in the National Football League. Not great, but not terrible. Not like it is now, right?
Okay.
So his point was, it was kind of working for the longest time, and then all of a sudden, we just lost it. Everything went white, right? John didn't use that word. I'm using that word. But back to Stefanski, and back to your point. Gary Kubiak was the driving force behind their offense this year, right?
Yeah.
That's all Mike Zimmer has ever talked about is he turned around our life here, right? Like he changed Kirk Cousins' life.
Yes.
Gary Kubiak. Did he call plays? I don't know if he called some of the plays. It looked like Stefanski was mostly with the headset on, but was the game plan from Gary Kubiak?
Yes.
So how much control does Stefanski really have? But guess what? He's become a close friend of Paul DePodesta of Moneyball fame, baseball fame. I knew Paul when he was under Billy Beane in Oakland. But Paul is an integral part now. He survived a bunch of regimes with the Cleveland Browns. And where did Paul go to school? He went to Harvard. And where did Stefanski go to school? He went to Penn. So they're like Ivy League brethren, right? And Paul pushed hard to hire Kevin a year ago when they elevated, you know who, Freddie Kitchens. And so he pushed again, and this time he won. Kevin Stefanski, let's bring him in. Watch what happens. Well, what has Stefanski ever done in this league to show you he's going to be a great head coach? Show me. Please show me something.
They brought in somebody over him to oversee him.
Yeah, to oversee him. And then we're back to, do I have to keep beating the quote-unquote dead horse? But Matt Rule won nothing big at Temple and absolutely nothing big at Baylor. He quote-unquote turned them around. And that qualified him how for a contract that's, 7 years at almost $10 million a year with the incentives, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What did he do to qualify for a head coaching job? Nothing?
Yeah.
Right? Joe Judge, he talks tough. He talks a big game.
It sounded good.
Good press conference.
Sounded good.
I was ready to go.
But again, he's a chip off Belichick's block, but he's way down the list. He's the special team / wide receivers coach.
Yeah, he ain't a branch off the tree. He's elite.
He's not. He's elite. I would agree.
If you want to go Mangini, you're going to go Cornell, you're going to go Bill O'Brien, okay, I get that.
Okay. So John Wooten drove home the point to me that, do you realize in the Super Bowl, the odds are we're going to have 2 minority coordinators facing each other, Robert Saleh versus Eric Bieniemy, and we didn't get 1 minority head coach hire.
But guess what, Skip? They said, I read the study, say I think a little over 70% of the players in the NFL is African American.
Okay.
What's the likelihood you think that dips to 50% or 45%? You see what Skip? That'll never. Now, just the divisional round, you had 4 African American quarterbacks. You're good enough to play, but I don't know if you're good enough to coach the players that look like you. Jim Caldwell got a job. Jim Caldwell did a heck of a job. I bet the Lions fans wish they could go to the playoffs, like Jim Caldwell had them 2 of the 4 years that he was there. Went 9-7, lost his job. Now, we're going to see how long before Steve Wilkes, Marvin Lewis, Jim Caldwell get another job after they've lost their jobs.
Good point. maybe won't happen.
Yeah.
You're right. So you mentioned black quarterbacks. We've seen great sort of progress there in that position, right? Yeah. There was a time when we just barely had any.
They couldn't think on their feet. They didn't process information fast enough. And then all of a sudden, he can't.
Yeah.
But you got to give him a chance, Skip. Give him a chance.
Yeah.
You got me like they giving Stefanski a chance, like they giving Matt Rule a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Give him a chance.
Okay, I told you I spent a week once upon a time when I worked at the LA Times in Ruston, Louisiana at Grambling University with Doug Williams, this kid that nobody really knew. And I talked to one GM who said they don't have the mental skills to play quarterback. And all he did was become the first black quarterback to win a Super Bowl. And that was sort of the breakthrough moment.
Right.
And now it's pretty open, like it's pretty good. Like whatever diversity we have at quarterback in the NFL is not being mirrored at head coach or especially at general manager right now.
Look, you can be the line cook, but the sous chef? Well, hold a minute now. You can't. You can work for the restaurant. You can't be the face of the restaurant. That's all I'm saying.
So the pinnacle was reached after the 2006 season in the Super Bowl when we had Tony Dungy versus Lovey, right?
Yep.
Great. And Tony obviously broke through and won a Super Bowl.
And Lovey lost his job. What did Lovey go, 8-8 in Tampa? And then lost his job to his coordinator. Let that sink in. I give you one guess. The color of the coordinator.
Okay. And Mike Tomlin did win a Super Bowl for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes,
so
and had them competitive all year long, given the injuries.
That's
with
true.
The quarterback, Juju being out, Connor being out, the injuries that they've gone through. But Mike Tomlin is more the anomaly than the norm. Black coaches don't normally get that kind of length of time. Now, the Steelers is an organization, they don't really like to fire. That's why they've had 3 coaches since 1969. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. But and I tell people, like, well, look at Marvin. You don't remember what the Bengals were, Skip. You remember, because you covered this game, you've been around it. You know what the Bengals were before Marvin got on the...
Yeah. Marvin's problem was he went 0 for 7 in the playoffs.
Right.
But he made the playoffs 7 times for a bad franchise.
Yes.
A mom-and-pop organization that's run cheaply. So he deserves... Clearly, I like Marvin. In fact, I wouldn't have minded if Jerry Jones had hired Marvin Lewis.
Yeah.
Very respected, too, by the players, right? I mean,
Yes.
everyone talks so highly of him.
Yeah, cheap. Mike Brown, cheap. You can go over the overpass, Skip, and park on the overpass and watch the Bengals practice.
You can. That's true. So I mentioned this earlier, but the Institute for Diversity and Ethics in Sports, their racial report card for last year, that doesn't include this hiring month now.
Right.
But A+ for minority assistants. D+ for head coaches in the National Football League. Well,
what is the front
tell
office?
You? Okay.
Probably F.
I don't know the front office, but I do know if you're given A+ for assistants, that means the pipeline is full of young, they could be of any minority, but a lot of young black assistants who are coming up and maybe they're better than Kevin Stefanski, right?
You can sit next to the man, you just can't be the man.
Yep.
You can be you be the assistant director. You can't be the director.
Right.
No mercy. Guys, Lamar Jackson's season, well, it came to an early end after being upset by the Titans in the divisional round last week. Looking ahead to next season, though, there are differing opinions on what we will see from Lamar. One anonymous coach said that Lamar's improvement in the passing game will continue to progress like it did from last year to this year. However, another coach said that Lamar's passing numbers this season were due to mostly playing with a lead and being able to make plays within the flow of an offense. So, Shannon, how do you feel about Lamar now?
I feel the same as I did going into the game as I feel coming out, Skip. You know, so many people was waiting for this moment, Skip, to say, I told you so. So they'll describe everything that he did over the course of a season and then put all the confidence, see, I told you, in one game. But they said the exact same thing last year in San Diego when they played the Chargers. See, I told you, he should have stayed he should have went to running back. He should have been a receiver. And then he improved leaps and bounds. I believe he can still improve. He understands he needs to become even better at throwing the football. He understands he needs to get rid of the football sometimes in the pocket and not always wait to try to get the home run down the field. He understands he can't take those hits, slide sooner, get out of bounds sooner. Skip, what does this even mean? A lot of his plays came when they had the lead or the floor of the game. Shouldn't that how your offense work? Your players should.
Yeah, the lead, yeah.
Everybody said Dak Prescott threw for almost 5,000 yards. I called them garbage yards because he was behind in the fourth quarter. Now you criticize Lamar Jackson for having a lead, giving his team a lead in the fourth quarter, for getting his yards, his touchdowns throughout the flow of the game. Now that's a drawback. Every other quarterback that gets their yardage or touchdown in the flow of the game, that's unbelievable. He doesn't do anything outside of the game. Now you punish Lamar Jackson for that. This is so ridiculous. I just can't believe that people would actually sit back. People sit back and hope that the young man fails. If you want to critique his play, if you want to say he didn't play well, okay, so be it. I got no problem because I offer harsh critique analysis of any player, regardless of position. But Skip, to sit back and hope, man, I sure hope they lose because this is going to be my opportunity. And it seems like this, he's not going to be. Why not? Every quarterback improved. Did you say that when Peyton Manning lost? 41-0 to the Jets? I don't know where Peyton goes from here. 41-0. You didn't say that. Come on. Guy played 16 unbelievable games. Had an unbelievable season. And now after one game, you're ready to write him off. You hope that he fades away. Well, I hope that he comes back even better than what he was last year. Because this is ridiculous.
Okay, just for the record, you were pretty hard on him yesterday.
Yes.
And you said he deserves the bulk of the blame.
Yes.
And that he played by his MVP standards poorly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. This is just me, and I don't know what to read into those anonymous quotes. I don't think they want him to fail. I think they're just trying to be smart, to see the future because you don't have to put your name on it.
Right.
So you're saying, I'm cool. I'm going to tell you they're going to struggle because he can't come back. I got to tell you, and I fought you yesterday on this. I didn't think his numbers on Saturday night were garbage numbers or empty calorie kind of numbers. I think he can come back. And I know they don't want to throw 59 times, but he made a bunch of good second half throws. But let's put this in some perspective. What happened a year ago? He was not ready for the Chargers in a playoff game because he was a rookie quarterback who'd never played in a playoff game. And the Chargers last year especially were really good on defense until they got to Foxborough. But they were really good all year, and they showed you how good they were against him. So he wasn't ready for that game, but his team wasn't ready on Saturday night because we talked about it. 3 weeks off, everybody's a little off kilter. Everybody's a little out of sync, a little out of rhythm. And his first pass is to Mark Andrews, who maybe 3 weeks before he makes that catch because it's just off his fingertips and it results in an interception and it changes the whole flow of the game. Then he threw a bad pick and then he lost, you detailed it yesterday, he lost a bad fumble because he lost Jarrell Casey behind him and he just forgot and he's going to try to make a play. And you're getting a little desperate because you didn't know you were going to get hit in the mouth like that. They were playing an extremely physically and mentally tough football team that is a buzzsaw right now that was coming off a hot win up in Foxborough, and it was the wrong place and the wrong time for a Baltimore Ravens team that had an extraordinary regular season that ended 3 weeks before. They weren't ready for the onslaught. And the problem with trying to come back against that team, obviously, is number 22 plays for the other team. It's just hard to come back on that because he's just going to punish you. You can't tackle him. He is the moose who runs like a deer. And it's going to be so relentless that it's going to defeat you psychologically. And so he's not getting a lot of help from his defense or his receivers.
And plus, Skip, that's not the Ravens' offense. Their offense isn't to drop back and throw it 60 times. No, but Kansas City can.
I know, but my point is, I was highly impressed with his growth as a passer this year. And I thought any other team, if they fell behind, the final score was 28-12. I forget what it was at some point, but could he come back on some other teams that would get up? Could they have come back on Cleveland? I know they lost 40-25. He could throw them back in a game, and I don't doubt he'll get better and better throwing the football.
But Skip, if you look at him last year when he lost to the Chargers, remember he went to L.A. and he beat the Chargers the first time around, so they get a second crack at him. Skip, I can see if it was like 4 or 5 games. But Skip, they got tape on you. They got 23 games worth of tape. So it's not like they're not, we don't know what he can do. He did that. He's going to win the MVP. He did that. How many outlets, and say in the last 20 years, we've seen a guy that just all of a sudden he win the MVP because what? Stop it.
I got it.
I'm not saying he's going to win 5 MVPs like Manning or 3 like Brady or even 2. But to try to discount him for what he did this season, because of one game they lost, ain't nobody saying anything. I wonder if Tom Brady can bounce back.
Yep.
They thumped him in their building.
Boy, did they.
And nobody said anything. I wonder if Tom can bounce back.
Yeah.
But because of Lamar, because his style is a little unorthodox, Skip, they run more than they pass. He's not as proficient throwing the ball. Yeah, he's good, but he's not as good throwing the ball as he is with his legs. We understand that. But if he just can incrementally get better.
He will.
Skip, it's 2 years. That makes it seem like he's been in the league 12 years.
I got it. What he did with his legs on Saturday night was extraordinary. 20 times for 143 yards. And there was one play up the sideline when he made Adoree Jackson look silly.
Oh, yeah.
The stop and go.
Yeah.
He just stopped cold and went, and he just, like, put him on his back.
Right.
Without even having to touch him.
Right.
Well, that's just, nobody else can do that. You had the two best running backs in the game on the field at the same time. Right. One guy does it one way and one guy does it a whole, it's thunder and lightning, right?
The thing is, you look at Mahomes, okay, once they got the lead, they were still throwing. He got those yards in the flow of the game. That's their offense. Okay, well, Lamar Jackson, what they do is that they run. They force you to try to, okay, we got to commit more to the box to take away the run. They got tight ends that can run and get seams. Hollywood Brown can go over the top, and he picks you apart. That's kind of like what a quarterback does. When Brady can run the ball, what is working, Skip? Play action. Now he's throwing the ball down the field. But they try to minimize what this guy's been able to do. You have to evolve. You have to reinvent yourself year after year in the really good ones because Brady is not the same guy, Skip. He was not always a throw at the screen guy and dump it down to the back. They catching 50 and 60 balls. That's not what he was. He's evolved to that. Brady used to throw, when he had Moss,
oh, man, they
threw the ball down the field. But you evolve, Skip. You reinvent yourself. Okay, you take that away. I'll find another way to beat you. And I believe Lamar can do that. But, I don't believe. Man, they need to miss me with that. I think he's good enough. They got 16 games. Teams had 16 games to try to figure him out. They didn't. He lost. He didn't play particularly well. He picked the worst day to have his worst game in the playoffs. It just happened to Drew Brees the week before. He played his worst game, Skip, and he went home.
Yeah.
I know, but this kid only has 2 now.
Right.
Neither one of them have been anything to write home about.
Well, how many? What was Peyton Manning's record in his first 3 playoff games?
What did I used to say? You said nobody said anything about Peyton. I used to beat this desk for years back at the old show about Peyton Manning never lived up to his regular season in the postseason.
Right.
That he was the all-time greatest regular season quarterback who couldn't live up in the postseason.
Right.
Okay? And it didn't happen until he went to Denver and had a real defense and completely reinvented the way he was throwing the football. Right?
Well, I mean, he had that breakthrough season, I think, in 2006, because Eli won in 2007. And, they had to go through it took him, he had to go, because he couldn't get through Tom. In order for him to, people like, finally, he had to go through Tom, Skip.
He did.
He had to.
No, he finally did.
And he finally did. And he went to Denver and he had to do it twice and he did it.
No, I got it. So even though I picked the Titans, I told you I was going to be deflated if we're going to lose Lamar from the tournament. Right. Because Fox has got the Super Bowl and I wanted to see Lamar in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So did this put a little bit of a damper on him winning the MVP? Yeah, it did. It just did. It kind of took a little...
Yeah, Skip, I don't really like to see the MVP there. I kind of want to see him do it via remote from his hotel room because he's getting ready for the game.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
But Skip, I mean, you got to go back. You got to go all the way back to Kurt Warner before you had the last Super Bowl MVP that won the Super Bowl. Matt Ryan, he didn't win. No. Tom Brady, he didn't win. So
it's kind of like the Heisman. You win the Heisman, although Joe Burrow just made them eat their words. Right. Yeah. But a lot of times the Heisman winner will have a hard time in the postseason.
Well, because Skip, he has that banquet circuit. Yeah. He's eating more and traveling more than practicing. Yep. The MVP, Skip, you ain't really going nowhere. It's just, hey, teams have 2 weeks to prepare. And, you have an off day. You're going home.
No mercy. Well, Joe Burrow took home all the hardware this season. The Heisman winner showed up big in the national championship game last night against Clemson. Burrow had 465 yards through the air and 5 touchdowns, and he ran one in as well, as LSU ended up winning the title 42-25 over the reigning champs. Burrow's 60 passing touchdowns this season is the most by any QB in college history. Fox College football analyst Reggie Bush joining us now. Reggie, did Burrow have the greatest college season by a quarterback ever?
I think he did. You just said it, 60 touchdowns on the season. That's unbelievable. 65 in total touchdowns. And it's the way that they did it. It's the teams that they beat. They beat 7 ranked teams from Florida, Auburn, Bama, Georgia, Oklahoma, and then Clemson, the number 1 scoring defense. They have all the accolades. And I think last night was just another example of why he's the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, why they were regarded as the best team. And I think also we got to start to talk about this team as, in the conversation as one of the greatest teams ever. Okay. Because of just what they were able to do and how they were able to just dissect a lot of these defenses in the SEC. It's extremely impressive. I thought Joe Burrow once again showcased to us, the whole world again, why he's one of the best and going to be the number 1 draft pick to Cincinnati Bengals. Yep. Good luck down there, but yeah, I think this is the greatest season by any college quarterback ever.
Wow.
Well, I'm gonna take it a step further. I think it's the greatest college season ever by a player. Yeah. I think the only one that could have come close would have been Barry Sanders had he won the national title. His 2,600 yards rushing, over 2,600 yard rushing, Skip, and it didn't count the 225 that he got in the bowl game had he won, because he won the Heisman. But if you look at Joe Burrow in totality, Skip, I'm not saying who had the most talent. Well, Cam Newton was a one-man game. Well, look at Vince Young and what he did. I'm talking about the greatest season ever in totality. 60 touchdowns passed, which is a record. 65 total, which is a record. The second best completion percentage ever. The third most passing yards ever. Over 6,000 yards. Vince Young, in his season, Skip, that they're talking about, Joe Burrow had 2,000 more yards and 27 more touchdowns. He had 1,700 more yards and 14 more touchdowns than Cam Newton. So you tap that with a Heisman, with a national title, with all of this in totality, Skip, is not even close. Yeah. His last 3 games, 18 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The number 2 scoring defense, the number 1 scoring defense, and a blue blood in Oklahoma. Skip, you can't do any more than what he did. Skip, against the best top 10 teams, he completed 75% of his passes, 398 yards a game, 27 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Yes, Skip, with somebody more talented, sure. Was somebody maybe a better player than him? Sure. But nobody had a better season than this. I defy you. I'm talking about everything. You got to put his yardage, his completion percentage, the Heisman, the national title, the 7 top 10 teams that he beat at the time that they played him. Nobody's even close, Skip. Nobody's close.
I got 2 words for you. Kyler Murray.
Not even close. Not even close. Not even close.
Just a year ago.
Not even close.
Kyler Murray had the greatest QBR in the history of QBRs, 93.6.
That's one stat, Skip.
Okay, but it's everything involved. He ran for 1,001 yards, and it counts in the QBR.
What did he do, Skip? Did he win the national? He got blown out.
Had the worst good team defense I have ever seen.
Well, Skip, you got to be
I'm just saying, and you can say I bleed OU crimson and cream because I was born and raised an Oklahoma fan, but I got to defend him because it was just a year ago that, because you never give him any credit at all for anything. He had an incredible rookie season this year, and you thought it was garbage. And
it was okay.
Yeah, it was just okay.
That's all?
It was extraordinary. He should be the runaway rookie of the year.
He gonna run
for
away.
That bad football team to do what he did for them, starting with a tie of the Detroit Lions in Game 1 and playing San Francisco to the wire twice. Are you kidding me?
Those games
for Cliff Kingsbury and that team?
How about Detroit? What did Detroit do?
What did Arizona do? Why did they have the first overall pick?
They almost had the same record as Detroit.
Okay, so I love QBR because it encompasses everything a quarterback does. So he had the number 1 QBR in the history of the stat.
Okay.
And Joe Burrow had the 6th highest.
Okay.
And others on the list that you would know, Russell Wilson was 3rd highest in his one college season, the Wisconsin season. Tua this year had a better QBR. He had a 92, just slightly better than Joe Burrow at 91.
Okay.
And I missed Andrew Luck, who also had a 91. Burrow was 90.8. So my point is that Kyler's season was extraordinary because he stepped into the shoes of the Heisman winner at the same school, and he was a transfer in. He had been there for a year, and he took it up a notch from what Baker Mayfield did, which the year before, a lot of people thought that was the greatest season.
Joe Burrow also transferred.
I know, I got it.
But Skip, all you can hang it on. What about his completion percentage? Was it better than Joe's? Did he throw for more touchdowns? Did he throw for more yards? Did he have more wins?
Nope.
Your guy caught 2 L's with that high QBR. Did anybody even come close to beating them?
So against Alabama in the second L that you talk about in the national semifinals, my guy threw for 308 and ran for 109. So that's 417 total yards against that Bama St. Nick defense. And there was no Hollywood Brown that night. And Jenny knows how valuable Hollywood Brown was to Kyler because he was unstoppable deep.
They didn't realize how injured he was.
Skip, this guy just had over 500 against the #1 scoring D in the country. They give up 151 passing. They gave up 9 total touchdowns in 14 games. That guy just hung 5 on them, had another touchdown drop, and they took a knee at the 5.
I thought he was extraordinary, especially coming off such a mediocre year the year before at LSU in his first year.
Yes, but Skip, when you add this, Skip, think about this, Skip. 60 touchdowns with 6 picks. How many picks did Kyler throw?
What was he? He was 42-7.
The dude threw 18 more touchdowns with 1 fewer interception.
Kyler ran for 12 touchdowns.
He
did run more.
Okay, so how many touchdowns is that?
That
54.
is 54 to 66.
No, so not even close.
65.
65?
He ran
Not even close.
Well, it's in the ballpark.
Ballpark?
Yep.
No, you selling popcorn, I'm on the field. They ain't close. We both in the ballpark, but we got 2 different jobs.
Next game as well, so.
So you believe he's gonna rush for 1,200 yards and throw another 13 touchdowns? Skip.
Kyler was extraordinary. Yards per attempt, 11.6 for Kyler to 10.8 for this kid. And this kid's got, you want to talk about wide receivers? Every time I looked up, there was another one.
Whoa. Yeah. Hold on. You just talked about Hollywood Brown. Hollywood Brown just wins the 1 game.
Yeah.
So is C.D. Lamb any good? I just need to know. Because the last 2 years, he's been in the running for the Biletnikoff Award, if I'm not mistaken.
He has.
So you had C.D. Lamb.
But Jamar Chase was Hollywood, and he got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got hurt in the championship game, but he played up until then.
The Big 12.
The Big 12.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he got hurt in the Big 12 game, right? Yes. So he played up until then. Okay. So I'm missing 1,800 yards passing.
What I'm saying is he threw for 308 with no Hollywood in the national semifinals.
Skip.
You said, it took him to the woodshed. I don't think they would have without this.
Did you see what he did against Georgia in the SEC championship game? And did he? We thought we'd never see anything what Deshaun Watson did. Deshaun threw for 420. Dude totaled with 463. And he took a knee.
I'll give you this. Just throwing the football, nobody's ever had a greater season than this. Just throwing it.
Yeah. I don't think in the totality, if you combine everything that a quarterback does, if you put it in its totality, no player has ever had a season like this, Skip. Not when because think about it, you said he got the 6th best QBR since they've been taking that. Yep. He has the 2nd best completion percentage, the most touchdown passes, the most total touchdowns. 6,000 yards total offense.
Extraordinary.
With a national championship.
You also got to take into account, he could run the football too. Last night at one point, that was their best offense was Joe Burrow
quarterback draw.
Running.
Absolutely.
He's got sneaky, clever sort of quickness out of the pocket at 6'4".
He does.
Yeah, Skip, look, there have been some unbelievable seasons. The season that Vince Young had and what he did in the championship game, sorry, Reggie, that was unbelievable. If you want to put Tommy Frazier, you want to say Cam?
I'm still going to say Vince's performance that night against you guys was the greatest single solo performance I've ever seen in a championship game.
I would give you that.
Okay.
Because it was just, he put, like Max,
it was him.
Max said after the game, he just put us on his shoulders and said, I'm going to do this.
Right. Okay.
And obviously, he ran for the final touchdown for what was like 18 yards away.
It felt like a mile. You're watching it.
Yeah, if you want to say his performance, that game was the greatest, okay, I give you that. But for a season,
a body of work.
60 touchdowns, Skip. Let that sink in for a second.
I got it.
I was impressed with 50 from, what's his name last year from Ohio State? 50 touchdowns. He topped it with 10.
He went 50-7. This dude went 60 and 6. It's over.
And this is the guy who fell to third string at Ohio State and then graduated 3 years, was a quote-unquote free agent, and Nebraska, where his father played, said, nah, we're not interested.
But here's what happened. Me and my research, he brought me some information.
I had forgotten
about it. He broke his hand. So that took him out of the running to be the backup. And so the guy got the advantage. Haskins got the advantage of being able to play.
Yeah, but he was a hot recruit.
Yeah.
Haskins was. And again, it was J.T. Barrett first, and he wasn't going to beat out J.T. Barrett.
Sometimes, Skip, everybody's like, I want to go here. Sometimes it's better where you go than when you go.
Yeah.
He went to the right place. Going to Nebraska, we'd have never heard. Joe Burrow would have probably, I don't know if Joe Burrow would have got drafted, Skip. But he went to the right place.
Possible.
Right?
Yeah.
You go there with those three receivers
Mm-hmm.
and look at, just like Tua. This is not Alabama's offense. Alabama's 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Yeah.
But they bring in Tua. They get Judy and Smith and Ruggs and all those guys, and they change Waddle, and they changed the way that LSU was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. Remember they had Fournette? All they tossed it to Fournette.
Run.
Even when they had Odell and Landry, toss it to Fournette.
Okay. And think how fortuitous it was that Coach O took his staff to talk to the Saints and try to pick their brains about offensive ideas. And there's a low-level assistant who basically was the gopher. He was the gopher for Sean Payton for 1 year.
That might be Tom Brady's cousin.
He became the Tom Brady of assistant coaches because no assistant in the history of college football has had more impact than he had on this kid right away.
And that's I think that's the most impressive part is this is a professional NFL-style offense.
Right.
It's the same offense that we ran in New Orleans that they're running right now. It's the same offense that helped us to win the Super Bowl. And then that's what I think was probably going to have coaches and GMs excited is because he's already making these NFL-type throws. He's in reads, and he's throwing receivers open. He's not waiting for them to get open.
If I'm Joe Brady, I go into Coach O office. Here's my new salary. Ain't no negotiating. This is my new salary. I really appreciate you, Coach O.
He just turned 30 years of age.
I just read something too where someone asked, like, "Oh, do you have an agent?" He's like, "Oh no, I don't need an agent until now, maybe." Actually, I probably do need one now.
Everybody coming knocking on their door.
This is my new salary.
30 years old. That's pretty special.
No mercy.
Guys, Joe Burrow, 6 total touchdowns last night, cemented his spot as the favorite to be the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft this April. On the other side of the ball last night was Trevor Lawrence, who suffered the first loss of his college career. And most experts have already pegged the sophomore quarterback to be next year's #1 overall pick. So, Reggie, when you look at these two guys, who will be the better NFL quarterback? Are you thinking Lawrence or Burrow?
Well, let me say this. If they were both coming out in this draft this year, Joe Burrow would be 1, Trevor Lawrence would be 2. Same thing if it was next year. It could be vice versa. And I don't think you can go wrong with either quarterback. They both bring something significant to this game. And I think they're both going to have great careers. But what I saw from Joe Burrow last night, I saw a quarterback who won the mental battle. This was the first time I think I've seen him under this much duress all season. They hit him. They sacked him. They got in his face. They tried to make it as ugly as they possibly could. They threw a bunch of blitzes at him. And they threw the kitchen sink at him last night. And he still came out on top. And that's the thing that you're most excited about when you watch him play, because how many times in the NFL do we see games go through these ebb and flows where quarterbacks need to be mentally tough? They have to be able to adjust on the fly. They have to be able to now scramble out of pressure and make those throws down the football field, and he can do it all. There's nothing that I saw from him that he cannot do this season. And because he's operating an NFL-style offense, that's the other part that gets people excited because, again, like I said, this is an NFL-style offense that he's running, and he's making NFL-type throws. He's throwing his receivers open. Even when DBs are draped all over them, he's putting that ball in places where only his receivers can get that. And we saw that time and time again this season, and we saw it one more time on the biggest stage last night.
I agree. I'm going to give a slight edge to Burrow, Skip. I love his demeanor. I mean, his demeanor on the field, Skip, not the celebratory when he was his ringside pointing at the fans in Texas. But he kind of reminds you of Eli because they got in his face early. There were a lot of scat protection, and you guys run a lot of scat protection, and what teams like to do, they like to blitz you out of it. They'll make you keep an extra guy in so you don't get all 5 of your eligible receivers out. He took some hits. They confused him early. He had some incompletions. At one point he was, 2 of 5? You never see Joe. He normally starts the game 11 of 11, 14 of 16. But they had him off kilter. But he didn't falter. He didn't blink. He didn't lose. I love that in a quarterback. because everybody can play when things are going great. Yeah. Let's not fool ourselves. Everybody, you get it going early, get it cooking, everybody can cook. Mm-hmm. But he didn't have it going early, but he stayed the course. He's in a pro, as Reggie mentioned, he's in a pro-style offense, making pro-style throws with pro-style reads. So I'm going to give, Ms. Skip, we looked it up. Did you know the tallest quarterback in the Pro Football Hall of Fame is 6'4"?
Really?
Troy Aikman and Dan Marino.
That's the tallest.
Elway is 6'3", Dan Fouts 6'3", Jim Kelly 6'3". Mm-hmm.
I didn't think about that.
Trevor Lawrence he's prototypical, 6'6", 220, which means his frame can hold 235, 240. But I'm gonna take Joe Burrow because he's 6'3". He's more apt. He's 4.
I think he's listed at 6'4".
He's 6'4".
Yeah.
He's 6'4". I love his athleticism. Coming into the season, Skip, I didn't realize he was this athletic until I really, you had an opportunity to just sit down and watch him against Alabama. And I saw them use his legs because there was a key, just like last night, a key, he didn't throw, he ran for it. Mm-hmm. Okay, and if you look at the guys, what are all the guys that's in the Final Four Sunday, Skip, what can they all do?
Right.
Get all move.
Take off and run.
Garoppolo can move. Rodgers doesn't move as much as he wants. Tannehill. And my homeboy showed you Sunday with his 53 yards rushing. So I'm going to give a slight edge, Skip. I saw some things with Trevor Lawrence I didn't like last night. I saw some erratic throws. I saw a bunch of erratic throws.
Yeah.
Higgins made some acrobatic catches, or there would have been even more overthrows. Yeah. So that was a little concerning. For the first time he got tested, and he didn't really pass last night. So I'm going to give a slight edge. Both of them going to go to bad teams. Joe Burrow going to Cincinnati. He'd probably say, look, I'll come, but y'all better keep A.J. Green. Because I'm not leaving what I got here in receivers. He might need to bring all them receivers with him.
Bring them with him.
Take everyone.
He might need to bring Chase and Jefferson and those guys with him.
He's an Ohio kid. He will love it there.
I think that's the part that makes it story.
It's a great fit.
Yes.
Did you just compare Joe Burrow to Eli Manning?
No, his demeanor.
Oh.
You know, Skip,
demeanor?
Yeah, his demeanor. I mean, nothing. He didn't get too high.
Did Eli ever do this?
No, that's what I'm saying.
He got a couple rings. He did get a couple rings.
But he never did that.
No, but Skip, Joe Burrow.
Eli was like in the wax museum.
Okay.
Right?
Look here. Big Macaulay Culkin had it cooking. and he
That's exactly who he looked like on the sideline.
He really does.
Yeah, he had it. But Skip, like you said, Eli, do you got a pulse? Eli, are you alive? Skip, nothing. No good or bad, you don't even know if Eli up by 35 or he's down by 42. Right. No expression.
It's funny you said that. Ernestine walked through the living room last night. I was watching the game. She stopped and looked at him and said, Home Alone.
And she had not heard that before. That's amazing.
I was impressed.
So true.
You're right.
That's so true. There were a few funny photos
like
going
grown
on.
up Home Alone,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
A little taller, I think, than real.
Okay.
Home Alone kid throwing darts now.
That is true. So, I am not being prisoner of the moment to say this. I have been tweeting about it. We haven't done it on the show until the last topic yesterday, but I told you when I picked LSU that Joe Burrow is much better than Trevor Lawrence. Mm-hmm. This that you just said, it's not even close that Joe Burrow had the greatest season ever for a quarterback or maybe any player. Mm-hmm. This is not even close. Joe Burrow will be a much better NFL quarterback than Trevor Lawrence. I have had issues with Trevor Lawrence all year. I've been tweeting about it all year. Mm-hmm. I tweeted about it after the Ohio State win, which he turned around after the
long TD run?
Well, I mean, after the ejection on the target, right? Because it came right after that. And he bolted away for 67 yards, and it changed the game.
He did.
If you let him get unwound with those long legs of his, he can fly. He looks like he can run 4.5-ish to me. But he runs kamikaze style. He doesn't protect himself at all. Yeah. The way he was running last night will not work in your league. Yep. It will not last because Joe Burrow was running smart. He would just get down. When it's time to get down, he just slides. He's not going to take anybody on.
Well, it cost him. That's why he fumbled the ball.
He took him on.
He tried to run over the guy. The guy put his helmet right on the ball.
So I don't think he's going to be nearly as effective a runner as Joe Burrow will be at the next level.
Right.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence is not an accurate passer. Book it. He's just not accurate. He has had T. Higgins at 6'4", and he's got Justin Ross at 6 feet 4 inches tall, and both of them are basketball leapers, and he's thrown a lot of jump balls that they have come down with. Saw a stat this morning, I think it was an ESPN stat, but He overthrew 13 passes last night, and it was the most in any college game this whole year. But I'm not being prisoner of that moment. He's been doing that routinely in his career, but he gets away with it because of the two big stud receivers. Both of them are going to be really good in the NFL, especially T. Higgins. But the point is, I don't see feel for the game. I don't see finesse feel where you can throw nice screens or have a feel for how to play quarterback. I'm going to be surprised if he's the first pick in the draft a year from now.
Who's going to beat him?
I don't know, but somebody's going to talk themselves out of this because I'm not sure this is going to work in the NFL. I'm not saying he's going to be bad, but he's not going to be what the other kid is because Joe Burrow is – he is made for. He's got touch.
And that's go ahead, Rich.
It's going to depend on the nature of which team he goes to, what kind of weapons
it's always
he has.
that in the NFL.
It always comes down to that.
Does.
You know, it's very tough to go into an organization, especially if you're number one pick. You usually go into the worst team, and you know, usually there's issues with either the coaching staff or just the chemistry or maybe the organization, the mentality. It can be a lot of different things that can affect his first couple years in the league. So we don't know. We don't have a crystal ball, but from what I seen last night, it ain't even close. Joe Burrow got it.
And normally, Skip, when you get the first overall pick, you normally a first or second year coach.
Yeah.
You ain't no 10, 15 year veteran coach getting the number one overall pick because if you that and you get the number one overall pick and you getting fired. Yeah. And so they coming in with a new coach anyway. And Skip, Lawrence has a bigger arm. But Joe Montana's arm was plenty good.
It was plenty good. Joe Burrow's arm is a little better than Joe Montana's to me.
Sometimes people think you got to have a Patrick Mahomes or a John Elway arm. No. You just get it there. His anticipation. That's the most important thing. Not arm strength, anticipation. Because you're going to have to look. Guys are not going to be wide open like they are in college. You got to throw guys open. And if you're late with a ball, ask Lamar Jackson when he threw that out cut. They get you. They get you. Yep. So you got to throw. You better throw. There's gonna be small windows, and you got to anticipate that guy's coming open and let the ball go before he's actually open. Because if you wait till he's open to throw it, it's knocked down or it's picked.
I know it's a side note, but man, Jamar Chase went to work on that DB last night.
That's the number one DB.
Went to work on him last night.
They tried to hide him. They moved him to the other side.
He still went to get him.
Felt bad for him.
Switch over. Get him.
Hey, go over there, go get him.
That's a game he's not
I tweeted that. I say if they don't give him some help over the top,
oh man,
the night's gonna get even longer.
I would have put Isaiah Simmons on him.
Skip. At some point, listen. I don't care how great you are. You will struggle in a game. Give the man some help. Yeah. There's no harm. It's like, okay, our best guy needed some help.
You're the best guy.
Go give that man some help.
But there's that other guy named Justin Jefferson.
Well, I'm going to see if Justin Jefferson can do it because I'm not letting Chase get no anymore.
Double team something.
Yeah, you got to
get hands on him.
I'm glad Coach O and Burrow found each other, though. It's just the way it all wrapped up. He was asked after the game what Burrow means to LSU, and he said he means the world to us. Like, it couldn't have been.
He never paying for another meal in the state of Louisiana.
Never.
Coach O kept saying he's one of the greatest players in the history.
The greatest.
What?
Yeah.
No, what?
Billy Cannon won the Heisman in 1959.
I saw the movie, the Galloping Ghost, the Gray Ghost they called him. That's what they call Billy Cannon.
Coach O about to get every five-star quarterback at his disposal now.
He will.
For the next 10 years.
That is true.
Because of this man right here.
Look at this turnaround.
But it's going to be hard, Skip, for other programs. Because normally they can go in there and steal a couple of players from Louisiana. Yeah. It's going to be hard for
hard now.
Coach O he going to keep those LSU.
Yeah, you ain't going down to LSU to New Orleans no more. They going to keep all them.
What a party it must have
Bama used to go in there and steal about 3 or 4 of them.
Travis Etienne went to Clemson.
Higgins, one of those receivers? Yeah. Maybe Higgins or Ross.
From down there,
yeah. No, he might be from Alabama. He got out of Alabama. But Coach O is just... He strikes you as a guy you just want to play for.
Yeah. You just want to hang out with him.
He is.
I mean, I love Dabo as well. It was like two coaches that you can't really say anything bad about, in my opinion. It was fun to watch. Reggie, good stuff.
Thank you.
Today and all season. It was really fun working with you.
No mercy.
Major League Baseball has handed down an unprecedented punishment to the Astros for stealing signs during the 2017 and 2018 seasons. The league suspended both the manager, A.J. Hinch, as well as the team's general manager for all of the 2020 season, and the Astros have since fired both of them. The team was also fined $5 million and lost their first and second round picks for the next 2 drafts. So, Shannon, did the punishment fit the crime?
Absolutely. Skip, you remember on the internet show we did Truth or Dab, we talked about this. I said, Skip, the fine's going to be somewhere between $5 and $10 million, and somebody's going to lose their job, and rightfully so, because the deterrent, this is meant to be a deterrent. This is what should have happened to Coach Belichick. Because, see, if this happened to Coach Belichick, there is no deflate gate. There is no bounty gate. How can the guy that orchestrated it not be suspended? This is my only problem, Skip. I don't understand that. You saw what happened in Bounty Gate, Skip. Even though Sean Payton said, commish, that was on the defense side. I knew nothing about that. You're the head coach. You should have known. Well, Coach Belichick ordered this to happen, and he escaped. Basically, he got $500,000 fine. They got docked the draft pick. This is how you deter. And now guess what you don't have, Skip? You don't have to worry about somebody shooting from the press box. We doing some footage, getting some outtakes. You don't have to worry about that. I guarantee you will never, ever have to worry about this happening again in MLB. Because the punishment is so harsh, it's so severe, it would deter anybody from even thinking of such. And you say, well, sign stealing, yeah, it is. If you can remember those signs through your head, so be it. But you better not take electronic equipment and do it. And that's what Coach Belichick did. And the same punishment, he should have been suspended for a bare minimum for a year. They should have been dropped 2 first-round picks and a $10 million fine, and then you wouldn't have had this other stuff going on. So MLB got it absolutely correct.
Yeah, Roger Goodell really dropped the hammer on Bounty Gate on New Orleans.
Yes.
Sean Payton's gone for a year.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, even though he said he knew nothing.
Greg Williams gone for a year. Joe Vitt was gone for, I think, 6 games. Mickey Loomis, the GM, was gone for 8 games, so half a year. And they lost back-to-back second-round picks. They'd already traded their first. So they got docked pretty severely, right?
Yes.
And the fine was $500,000, I guess, back in 2012. That's
I think the most you can find someone is $1 million, if I'm not mistaken, Skip.
So you got to give the NFL Bounty Gate, right?
Yeah.
Did they do that right?
Yeah, they got that one right.
Okay.
But there probably would have been no Bounty Gate if you'd have dropped the hammer on Spygate.
Little different variety of cheating, because this was bounties over a long period of time to actually knock players out of the game.
Right.
So it became a player safety issue as well as a cheating issue, right?
But Skip, do we believe that just happened in 2007? That was the first year that Spygate actually took place. We know that it took place longer than that. We know that. That's not conjecture. We know it did.
Well, Rob Manfred just dropped an all-time hammer.
I knew it was coming, Skip. You got to, Skip.
And then Jim Crane, who owns the Astros, he dropped another one because he just said, you're gone and you are gone. They're not just gone for a year. They're gone from the organization.
He said, Skip, he didn't say, y'all didn't do it. He said, but you didn't stop it.
You didn't stop it, even though A.J. Hinch did try to sort of disable a couple of monitors, so he was aware of it. But again, the owner's saying, yeah, but you didn't ever stop it.
Yeah, you got to do more. And that's my point. Coach Belichick, not only did he not stop it, he ordered the code red. He was Nathan Jessup. He was Colonel Jessup. He ordered the code red.
Well, so he instituted it. It started with him.
So at the end of the movie, what did they do, Skip? Yeah, Loud and Downey, they had to go away, but Colonel Jessup had to leave too. So how Coach Belichick doesn't get a suspension? Just explain that to me, Skip. How does he not get a suspension when he ordered the code red?
I don't know, because it is cheating. And yet, in this case, with Rob Manfred, remember, there was an Apple Watch cheating incident involved with the Red Sox, quote-unquote, allegedly cheating on the Yankees. And Brian Cashman cried foul on it and went to the league office with it. And so this is back in 2017. And Rob Manfred issued a scathing memo and said, this will stop. And
Corey's going to be gone for a year, too.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But
I'm
talking about for the Astros incidents. He's going to be gone because I think he was the bench coach.
He was involved.
He was the bench coach.
Yeah, but nothing has been.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm going to be shocked if he's not gone for a year also.
He's going to get punished.
Yes.
I would agree with that. And that's coming. He's still being investigated.
Right.
And how much more did the Red Sox continue to do after the 27? They could get really docked here also. But the point was, it wasn't like Rob Manfred didn't warn you, because he really warned you.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
Remember, Commissioner Goodell sent the memo. If you're taping from the sidelines, Stop this immediately.
Yep.
And what did Coach Belichick do? He kept doing it. So even though he kept doing it, Skip, he doesn't get not one game, not 4 games, not half a season. He got nothing but a fine? Come on now. But Rob, hey, that's the way you do it, Rob. If you want to send a message, the harshest deterrent must be enforced. That's why you do it. Hey, in the Middle Eastern country, you steal something, they chop your hands off. Which hand? I just need to know which one you got it. You stole something. Now you walk around, you can't steal nothing but donuts. You ain't got to worry about just taking something that don't belong to you. Stop it.
Well, you know how I feel about Coach Belichick. And again, you've called him the greatest coach ever, and I say he's disqualified because he's had too many allegations of cheating. And remember, the great Don Shula once referred publicly to Coach Belichick as Belichick.
Yeah.
Belichick.
But Skip, it's kind of hard now. And the Red Sox owner, Jim Crane, I think that's his name, said it's not tainted. Astros owner. It's kind of hard to say you got something illegally, but then say it's not tainted. It's kind of fruit of the poisonous tree, Skip. Anything that was contaminated with that is poisonous.
So let's go to the very top of the organization in question. You're a big fan of Robert Kraft.
Yes.
Okay, so should he be responsible for what happens below him?
He should. He should have got. But see, the thing is, I guess baseball they can go $5-10 million. I guess the NFL set it up. You can only get fined. The maximum is $1 million. But they didn't do anything to him. They fined him $1 million. The commissioner. That's what he should have done. Now, if Mr. Kraft says, you know what, I can't have this on my resume. People are going to be looking at me sideways. I would not even thought twice about it. I would not have. But the commissioner should have done something beforehand. This should have been Skip, he got to be gone at least a year. At bare minimum. He ordered it. At least AJ, he didn't stop it, but he didn't order it.
Yep. Okay.
Coach Belichick ordered it.
Should Robert Kraft have fired Bill Belichick?
If he had, I wouldn't have batted an eye.
Okay.
But here's my thing, Skip. I would, if Commissioner Goodell suspends him for a year and they don't fire him, I'm cool with that. Just like if Jim Crane does not fire these guys, I'm cool with that. But at least the league said, we're not going to have this. But Jim Crane's like, nah, bruh. Y'all didn't stop it. You didn't do it. You didn't start this, but you didn't stop it.
That is true. And I'm going to remind you one more time about Belichick. He was accused by 2 straight organizations before Super Bowl games of taping their walkthroughs.
Yes.
Both the St. Louis Rams and the Carolina Panthers publicly accused the Patriots of taping their Saturday walkthrough against all rules.
Well, all I know is that a disciple, a branch off the tree, brought that to Denver.
He did.
And he tried to tape the 49ers walkthrough in London. That ain't conjecture. Josh McDaniels, that's fact.
And he got fired for it.
Mr. B, you gotta go.
Yep. Okay.
Wow.
So for this to have been going on, Skip, and for Coach Mangini, who works with us, to say, Bill, that little thing that you been doing, just don't do it to me. Did that just happen once he went to the Jets? So, because how does Eric Mangini know about that? Oh, so this thing goes back.
Yep.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking, making sure.
Interesting.
It is interesting.
True.
It doesn't sit well, seriously.
No.
If they're doing this, what else is everyone doing, is what I'm kind of thinking of right now.
No mercy.
Welcome back to Undisputed, everyone. We're now joined by Cowboy safety Xavier Woods. So good to have you with us.
Who should be playing in this Super Bowl.
We should be.
It should have happened.
I figured that would come up off the top. But first,
welcome.
Xavier, welcome. But you also from Louisiana. So curious, watching the game last night, what did you make of LSU?
That's big. That was big for the state of Louisiana. Me, growing up, I wasn't an LSU fan, but now that's just big for Louisiana. I mean, we haven't won anything.
By the way, I have traveled enough to have gone through your hometown, which is more north central.
North Louisiana.
Monroe, right? That's how you say it, Monroe. Because when I was there, I thought it was Monroe, but they say Monroe, right?
Monroe.
So when you were growing up, did you hate LSU, or was there rivalry, or what? How did you feel about it?
Growing up, I was a Georgia fan.
Okay.
Oh, the Bulldogs?
Bulldogs, man. Matthew Stafford, AJ Green, those were mine.
Okay.
Oh, I looked up to those guys, but definitely didn't like LSU. But growing up, now, you just want to see the hometown win, the home state win.
Okay.
We've been let down a lot.
Okay, so I'm assuming LSU did not recruit you out of Monroe
They did.
High School,
They did.
right?
They
and
did.
You went to Louisiana Tech, which is just down the road in Ruston, right?
It opened up great opportunities for me, especially to get to the league, obviously.
Yep.
So I'm blessed to be able to go to Louisiana Tech and be an alumni.
So were you rooting last night for LSU?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I was on
All
the
right,
bandwagon.
way to go. So before we look ahead with Mike McCarthy, let's look back to what I considered a highly disappointing 8-8 season. Just gut feeling, what was the biggest reason you finished 8-8?
Just couldn't put it together. We had the talent. From the top to the bottom, from the coaches to the staff to the players. Just didn't put it together. We just couldn't win those close games. When we got down, we just couldn't come back. I believe that's what it was. It's not solely on one person. I mean, you get the scapegoat would be Jason Garrett, but it's on us. It's on the players. I mean,
I do agree with the premise of it was always something is missing, but the defense could not take the ball away at key moments. And I don't know how you teach that. I don't know how you coach it, but you were obviously playing safety part of it. Did it start to eat at you? We got to take the ball away, and we're not. So how do you say, let's go take the ball away today or tonight?
Well, there's pros and cons to that. Pros is you focus more on taking the balls away and trying to get it. Cons be you force. You know, when you force in football, you just do too much, and things happen. You start guessing and stuff like that, and that's what started to happen. We started to force too much. Me personally, started to force on the back end. But, we missed tackles. That Chicago game was terrible.
It was terrible.
And you can't blame that on the coach. We go out there and we miss all those tackles. We give up third and 15. That's not on the coach. That's on the players, you know?
You turned Mitchell Trubisky into Lamar Jackson.
Man, he looked great going against us that night. But that's on the players. And all in all, we just couldn't put it together.
Jason Garrett was your coach. Obviously, he lost his job, and you mentioned the term scapegoat. And it seems like when things went well, he got no credit. When things went bad, he got all the blame. What do you think of Jason Garrett as a coach?
Well, that's a leader. That's a leader's job. When things go good, you don't get no credit. When things go bad, you get all the blame for it. I mean, that's he's being a leader. But he's a player's coach. You wouldn't find a handful of guys in that locker room that doesn't like him. It doesn't like him as a person. I love him. He believed in me. He drafted me a couple rounds late. But he drafted me. So I would never go against a guy that believed in me, and I'm loyal to that guy. But this question's coming up, but sometimes you need new energy.
Right.
New energy in the building breeds something different. Do I believe he was a problem? No. Do I believe we just didn't put it together? Yes.
Do you believe you started to tune out his pre-game messages like you've heard him so many times that they start to go in one ear and out the other?
I believe you do it with any coach.
Yep.
I believe you do it with any coach, man. If you're not motivated internally, then something's wrong with you. So he's not the fiery guy.
Nope.
He's not going to be the guy that makes your heart pound before you got in the game. His speech is consistent. It's the same every week. So you know what you're going to get from him. But he's not going to be the guy that's the
and I
motivator.
Said my issue with Jason was, and he's the nicest guy in the world, but I don't believe anybody in your locker room feared him, feared his retribution if you missed all those tackles at Chicago, because he's not going to yell and scream after the game or on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday.
I would say no, that's not the reason. Because Christian Sharpe, our DB coach, and he's that guy. He's that guy that we fear, that not to say it's fear, but he's that guy that will holler at us when we miss those tackles, when we make those mistakes. And it's a place for both head coach is not that guy, but then you got the DC or the passing coordinator that is.
By the way, would you like to see Chris Richard get a head coaching job?
Definitely. I definitely believe he's deserving of it.
But Xavier, let's be real. You know who the coach was. It's the guy that y'all hear all the time, Jerry. That's why y'all tuned out Jason Garrett. We couldn't tell you anything because who he gonna bench? Who he gonna cut?
He is the boss.
No, he's not. Jerry's the boss.
Well, that's what he's saying. Yeah. He's saying Jerry's the boss.
Yeah.
So
they gonna fire Jerry? Jerry getting cut? Okay, my bad. I'm just making sure.
Come on now.
I'm just making sure.
All right, so you have a new leader. And we hope he's not the same as the old leader. But Mike McCarthy, I thought, was pretty impressive in the opening press conference. I don't know if did you attend or just watch?
I did.
You just watched, right? So early gut feeling on Mike McCarthy.
First, new energy. Like I said earlier, new energy. He's won before.
Is that cachet in the locker room when he walks in? He's got a ring now.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's how we treated Coach Sharpe when he came in. He got a ring. He had one of the best defenses ever. That's how you treat winners. That's how you I mean, you bring in a whole new staff, so we definitely gonna get new energy in the building, new staff. It's gonna be, I don't know what our defense is gonna be yet. They haven't told us. I mean, I don't know, 3-4 or 4-3. We don't know, but the staff that he's assembled already, they have some stuff with them. They have some stuff with them.
Do you know much about Mike Nolan, your DC?
I don't, but I know that the Saints defense has been rocking and rolling for some time now.
I'm pretty sure you were going to switch your scheme to a 3-4 because that's all he's ever coached and teach. So I don't know that for a fact.
I definitely know that we won't be running that cover 3 that we've been running because, I mean, those guys don't run that. They haven't ran that. So I'm excited to see what we'll be running.
Are you surprised? I mean, look, I get it. Chris Richard came from Seattle, and they were a cover 1 lurk robber team. But that's not what you guys. I don't believe that's what you guys were good at. But that's what he coached. Are you surprised that you didn't switch it up more?
I don't think that's what we're not good at. I think we are a good cover 1, cover 3 team. It's just sometimes the system needs an update. Sometimes the software needs an update. And when you say, when you look at the Seahawks and the 49ers, we just run the same thing. They mix in a different cover. They mix in that cover 4 coverage as well.
But them dogs that go get hunt.
You
got to have them dogs that go hunt.
I think we got dogs too.
DeMarcus Lawrence had a half a sack over the last 7 games.
And when you look at it, he get double teamed.
Wait, well, somebody else got to get home.
Robert Quinn did get home.
Look here. I don't hear nobody no double team.
We got some dogs now.
Guess what? He had 2 agents, and they got him $100 million. I need to skip. I need production. I don't hear nobody no double team. I need production.
Sacks went down. Tackle for losses. His stats might have went down.
Yeah.
But that production.
And the defense went down.
And offense was afraid of D-Law. Come on now. You know this. Offense was afraid of D-Law.
But the problem
double tight ends, getting blocked by 2 tight ends and the right tackle.
Well, look here. I need y'all to take the ball away.
3 guys.
See, y'all got Skip up here. Skip was yelling at me all year long, wouldn't let me speak because y'all was catching them L's.
We was. I mean, we couldn't get the ball. Me personally, I dropped 4.
You did.
That's why you DB.
Nah,
if you could run, you would be a receiver or running back.
That's not why.
Harsh, Shannon.
Guys that have
the reason I want to be DB, I didn't want to get hit.
Okay.
I want to do the hitting.
All right.
Hands, I mean, let me make your hand look suspect.
I put lotion on this morning, too.
Describe Dak Prescott as the leader of your football team. What's your view of him?
Phenomenal leader. A guy that you're going to listen to, a guy that you're going to follow, a guy that's going to lead by action and not words, not just words. I mean, he's a great leader. He's a great leader. He's first one in the door, last one out. And that's small, but then in your mind, you're like, man, my quarterback's in here. Wow. I want to be great for him, too.
Do you have a close relationship with him?
Yes. I mean, definitely. We're from the same state. We talk in the locker room. Not like we go out to dinner every night or something like that. But yeah, as far as football, yes.
Yeah. What did you think of Zeke's year? Because I was a little disappointed. I wanted him to lead the league in rushing after he got paid. And how did you see his season?
I feel like his season went good. I mean, Dak came out passing the ball, had a phenomenal year. That was working for the offense. Something works. Why change it?
But see, he want Dak. He wants y'all to throw for 5,000 yards and want Zeke to rush for 2,000, which you and I both know is impossible.
It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Some has to fold. Some has to fold. The passing or the running.
So you want to make any big predictions about next year?
We'll be in Super Bowl.
Ooh, I like that. There we go. Boom.
Skip will take that.
Y'all gonna be there.
What is that? LA, Vegas? Which one?
I think it might be in Tampa.
Oh, Tampa?
Might be
Yeah,
Tampa.
I don't think it's LA yet. Tampa? I don't care where it is.
I don't know.
You'll
Wherever
be
it's
there.
at, we'll be there. We'll be there.
Y'all got tickets already?
We'll be there.
They ain't printed the tickets yet. You can't get no tickets. You can't get no tickets. They ain't getting y'all no tickets yet.
We'll be there.
Be there. Yeah,
We'll be there.
We gonna be there too.
I know you'll be there.
You gonna be in the stand with me. Me and Skip.
Tampa, by the way.
Yeah, you'll be there with me.
Tampa?
Yeah, be there with me.
Shannon, we got a real coach now.
Yeah,
we got a made man.
Oh, now.
Yeah, we got a real coach.
Now you will.
He's got a ring on his finger. And he might have a couple because you know what my team does? It just rides the roller coaster. Every other year it goes way up and then it goes way down. This is time to go up.
Well, you've been down here for 25 years. Super Bowl.
Hey.
My bad. You know. I hate that. I don't like to be the bearer of bad news, but you know.
He just said they are going to be in the Super Bowl.
What's he supposed to say?
Case closed.
What's he supposed to say? They go get Trevor Lawrence, the number one overall pick?
A lot of guys say, we'll do the best we can. We'll take it one game at a time. He's taking it one season at a time.
He got his fingers crossed.
Yep.
He ain't mean it.
No.
You're like, here, we go to Super Bowl, got his fingers crossed. Hoping.
I like the
feel
confidence.
The confidence is good and new energy in the building.
Yep.
That goes a long way. So we really appreciate
new energy with the same players, huh?
Shannon, come on. Right here.
Well, now you know.
Yeah, you
I'm just saying the defense got to do, but I need more from the defense. You got a lot of guys getting big dollars over there.
All right.
I ain't saying you one of them big dollar guys, but there are a lot of guys making big dollars over there, and I ain't see that production this year.
We appreciate you coming in today, Xavier.
Yeah,
I have a feeling that these guys could keep you for the rest of the show, but that's all the time we have.
Oh, he happy. He done got what he wanted to hear now.
Wishing you the very best.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me.
Back anytime.
Thank you.
No mercy.
Well, Antonio Brown posted a video yesterday on his Instagram page of him accusing an ex of stealing one of his cars. In the video, Brown can be heard using some pretty vulgar language and slurs directed at the woman as well as at the police while he called for her to be thrown in jail. Shannon, what is your reaction to the video?
It's sad, and it's getting even worse. And the mere fact that he thought it was cute enough or worthy enough to be posted so everybody can see the way he behaved. Forget talking like that to the police, but you're behaving like this in front of your kids to your kid's mom. It's getting worse. I just hope he gets the help that he needs before it gets worse, Skip, because this is not heading for a happy ending. Trust me. And his behavior is getting more and more outlandish.
Yep.
And I'm afraid that if he doesn't get the proper help, the intervention, and whatever it is, drugs, mental health that he needs to get checked on, but this is not normal behavior. And I just don't get it why he would behave like this, why he would think it would be okay for him to record this for the world to see him act like a jackass. Mm-hmm. Hey, bro, this is not cool. And you talking like this, you using this kind of language in front of your kids. Okay, I get it. You might not, you and your kid's mom might have a disagreement. But handle that behind closed doors, not in front of your kids. That's one thing. I'm sure my grandmother and grandfather, they didn't always see the eye to eye. But whatever issues they may have had, Skip, it was never in front of us. We never saw them argue. Not to say that they didn't.
Sure.
But we didn't see it. AB, you can handle that behind closed doors, and the world does not need to see it. Bro, you better than this, I think.
He posted this as if he was proud of this,
yes,
right?
Yes.
That's the first thing you need to know. The second thing that concerned me the most was you can hear him talking, and he's got his yes men with him behind him. Yeah. This is everything that's wrong about his life right now is those guys are saying, yeah, do it. Yeah, you're right. Social media, all of his followers are saying, go get him. Stand up for what's right, what you believe in. He is trying to convince the commissioner of the National Football League to reinstate him, right? He is facing sexual assault allegations. He's got a long list of off-field incidents that he has to answer to the commissioner for before he's going to be reinstated and given another chance to do what he does greatest, what he loves the most, what makes him the most money in his world, to play in the National Football League.
Right.
Then what would possess you to think you could post that, and that video yesterday would encourage the commissioner to say, it's time, he's been out long enough.
Skip.
What are you thinking?
He's seeking approval and validation from people that have no impact on whether he get a job.
That is correct.
He does not understand that. Or maybe he doesn't care to understand that. Because as you said, when you have people that's telling you what you want to hear instead of what you need to know, and then you get these people that's on IG that follow you and they co-sign your behavior. AB, this is not cool. Yeah. For you to talk like to the mother of your kids and you talk like that to her in front of them, they hear that. I love you. I think he called a kid, I forget what he said. Oh, I love you, and then go back into slurs and cursing. Really? In the same breath, I love you in one breath, and then the next sentence out your mouth is curse words and foul language in front of your kids. And Man, your kids shouldn't have to go through that, AB. Have the police there, and they're coming with greater regularity. Come on, AB. Come on, somebody. Guy that's in the background. Man, y'all get this man some help. Y'all let this man know this is not okay, the way he's behaving. And hey, IG followers, man, y'all stop co-signing this because y'all sending him down a dangerous path.
Yep.
You know, see, you're laughing with him right now, but pretty soon it ain't gonna be a laughing matter. Y'all need to stop this.
How many of those followers said yesterday to him in comments, you put that cop in his place, way to go, right?
My place. Get off my property. You this, get off my property. Come on, bro, that's unnecessary. If you don't listen, if you don't want to be with you're heading down a dangerous path. Just move on. It seems like you want to be without her. She seems to be without you because, like she said, you're like not in a very good mental space. Y'all just move on without each other. She doesn't deserve this. She shouldn't have to subject herself because you're the father of her kids to this type of behavior. AB, you bigger than this. You better than this, AB. You don't talk to people like this. If you don't want to be with the woman, just move on. But don't belittle her. Don't talk to her, down to her like that in front of the kids because they see this. They see this. They hear you, AB.
So in the 100th season of the National Football League, what means most to the commissioner? The image of the National Football League.
Absolutely.
The shield.
Yes.
Protect the shield.
Yes.
I'm all for it. I'm with you.
Yes.
Well, this doesn't work, right? This is not the image you want portrayed.
Skip, we
right?
talked about this. They were never going to hear AB's case before this season ended. AB was never going to set one foot back in the NFL until the 100th anniversary season was over. They will get back to him TBD, to be determined at a later date and time, or at our convenience, whichever comes first.
Well, I realize the NFL Players Association has a job to do, and they're going to try to fight for him. But I think there are people in that NFLPA right now today who are saying, oh, man, how do we defend this?
Skip, look, I'm off, and I understand you're supposed to support, but wrong is wrong, right is right. And what he's doing is wrong. And how do you support that? How do you throw funds behind that and support that kind of behavior?
How do we get him help, though? I mean, we've been talking about this for months now.
I mean, ESPN reported that he had sought some counseling, but it not
clearly
working.
didn't work
This
well.
one's hard to ignore. This one feels different than the others.
But if you notice, Skip, everything that he does is what? It's on camera.
Yeah.
He wants that attention. He craves that. And it's like a drug. People don't realize celebrity is a drug.
It is interesting.
It's like alcohol. Fame is a drug. And now, Skip, he's not nearly as famous as he's catching touchdowns. So to stay in your lexicon, to keep my name in your mouth, I got to do something.
Yep.
Because you're talking about Kansas City, you're talking about the 49ers, you're talking about teams that's playing.
Yep.
AB ain't playing. So how do I keep you talking about AB? Act like a D-fool.
I hadn't thought about the addiction in terms of the attention from not playing.
No mercy.
Odell Beckham Jr. was ready to celebrate with his alma mater after LSU won the title last night. OBJ was seen on the field handing wads of cash to multiple LSU players on the field. He also celebrated with the team in the locker room because why not? And said he'd be able to sell wide receiver Justin Jefferson's cleats for $2,000. An LSU athletic official said the cash was not real. So Shannon. You got a problem with this?
That look like real money to me.
It looks real.
I ain't really know Odell to walk around with Monopoly money.
Nope.
You came out better said that was a fake Odell.
Also, $200,000. I was like, I said 2,000. I'm like, that is not right.
200,000.
Excuse me.
That he
those
would give
cleats.
to Justin Jefferson.
Odell passing out bands right after that. Do that thing, Odell. Yo, come on, Odell. You know you can't do
He's
this.
smarter than this.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
I don't know.
Odell, you know better than this.
The guy hates attention. We'd never see this
Yeah,
from him,
but I
right?
got to tell you, he helped wreck the Browns, and he's threatening to help wreck his college program right now because the NCAA does not play on these things.
They're going to say I gave it back to him.
Yeah. And again, it looked real money.
But guess who else was in the locker room, Jenny? We didn't pull that footage. Who else was in the locker room, Skip?
Tell me.
Oh, Zeke Elliott. Close he gonna get to a championship. You know, Xavier Woods come out here telling that story, talking about we going to the Super Bowl next year. No, you're not.
Well, you're trying to change the subject off something that's pretty serious because I think the NCAA will look to drop some hammers.
Skip,
they have sanctioned for much less than this.
All they gonna say is we gave the money back.
Yeah. Well,
which I'm not.
Yeah.
I wish somebody would have came out there, we won anything, and somebody came out there passing out. That looked like about $500, $600. For a college kid, I wish I might give it back.
I mean,
what are you supposed to do?
He's advertising that he will sell these cleats for $200,000 to give it to Justin Jefferson.
He should have came out there with a big old bundle. That's how me and Weezy gonna be at the club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with bundles.
That's what you guys are doing?
I ain't talking about that cable bundle. Oh, yeah, you coming?
Them as well?
Oh, we gonna have them, babe. We have them things stacked up that thing.
Somehow, I don't know if I see that all happening. That is stop it. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:30.
No mercy. Thanks for listening to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm Jenny Taft. Join us again at the same time tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern. We'll see you then.
Fox Sports, one of one.